So we know that student success is the business that we're in. We also know that the most important thing that happens in a school district is what happens in the classroom with the teacher and his or her students. But we also know that teachers don't get better by themselves. Teachers have great leaders that are creating the conditions for them to excel with students. We also know that principals don't get better by themselves. They must have coaches and supervisors that understand how they polish their skill set. So we believe that principal supervisors have a direct impact on student learning through their ability to coach and develop principals. This summit centers on how do we ensure that principal supervisors are skillful in coaching and developing principals and are liaising with central office to make sure that schools are getting what they need.
My biggest aha was that alignment and clarity are key to getting to the outcomes that we need. And while I always knew that, but to hear it and really think about where we may be misaligned and where there may not be clarity, and to identify those barriers was my biggest aha during this time. The other thing was coaching on the red line. Like, that's hugely important, that authentic feedback and coaching principals and coaching principal supervisors. The work can't be done without that.
One takeaway that I have is that we have to move from the traditional brick and mortar model around leadership, which was managerial. A instructional leader at all levels is a coach. You have to coach on the red line, and that is the biggest takeaway from me. The red line allows the opportunity to state there are some managerial components to that, but the red line again aligns us to the end product of student success and staff success at the end.
It's the engagement piece out of all the teams, the questioning and their interest in knowing how they can improve their practices. We have superintendents all the way down to principal supervisors and cabinet level personnel from their teams that actually they want to improve their systems and structures around communication, how to improve the principal supervisor work that actually has a great impact on principal work. And as you know, great principals will make great schools.
I think over the last 2 days, my favorite moment has been just watching school districts from across the country really, right? Coming together, one, understanding that we have a lot of similarities, but also a lot that we can learn from each other. So I think this has really been a good experience and a good eye-opener to what needs to be done, the good things that are being done, but then how do we continue to move things forward to make sure leaders are getting just the best quality supervision that they can receive to make sure that they're able to do what they need to do in their buildings.
I think you'll probably hear a lot about the whole idea of coaching to the red line. And I think that that's been a really important issue. First of all, coaching period, but also having coaching with an impact. I think that's a big takeaway, I think, for me and for many other people here.
So my biggest takeaway has been just more of a reaffirmation. The affirmation of everything we do is about the site, really making the principal position a destination position. So in all the work that we do in central office, we need to be making sure that we are focusing on supporting our principals, and that because they are the key drivers to the work.
The biggest aha over the last 2 days has truly been that when you are developing leaders inside a system, you are developing them to be successful. You're not developing them to have a good experience. You're not developing them so that they feel good. You're not developing them so that they are credentialed to take another role in the system. You're developing them to be successful leaders. And by success, we mean you're developing them to win. To win, and winning means for a school system that they're actually executing on the promise that they have with their constituents. Are they developing student outcomes? Are their students graduating in a way that sets them up for success beyond schools? And one of the biggest aha of these last 2 days has been the resonance around this idea of winning. It's not something we talk about in school districts. We don't talk about winning unless it's a football team. But what really came out of this is that, yeah, we're accountable for winning. And if we don't win, our kids lose.
Over the last couple of days, I have felt empowered as a principal supervisor to pay attention to the details, to be intentional as a leader in how I plan to support those that I'm leading, and walked away with some strategies for how to do that.
My biggest aha moment is that a lot of us are in the same space and wanting to learn from each other. There's a lot of complexities, a lot of changes in the public education realm, and the goalposts, the field goal is always moving farther away. And so to come together with everybody wanting to learn from each other is my aha moment. Everybody has something to share. Everybody has something they can learn from one another.
Teachers are first. They're the first frontliners, but your principals are the second frontliners that will have the impact. A lot of the times we forget what it means to be within the buildings and engage in the day-to-day operations. This summit has allowed the opportunity for us to recalibrate and make sure that we are focused on the outcomes and the product, which are our students. And so having the opportunity to come together and ensure that the outcome focus first is students allows us to understand the work that needs to be done at the district level around support and service.
A lot of huge moments over the last 2 days. I think a couple takeaways that resonate with me is that every interaction is an opportunity to coach. Never give up the opportunity to support, develop, lean in, lean on, work with a principal. The principal is the primary actor in the building. He or she sets the weather for the magic to happen in the classroom. So we believe, in the last couple days, one of the biggest things that I picked up on is the importance of the principal supervisor and his or her role in working with central office, because many times central office sort of gets in the way of doing the real work, and that principal supervisor can act as a huge supporter, can block and tackle for principals to ensure they're focused on the right thing.